14 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few wide receivers I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Jalen Guyton of the Los Angeles Chargers. So right here, Keenan Allen's on the COVID list. We don't know if he's going to play, and right now it's not looking good. And Mike Williams as well is questionable to play in this game. So we know Guyton's been a deep threat for this Charger team and Justin Herbert this season here. And he showed some flashes the last few games here for Guyton. Week 11 versus Pittsburgh, 1 carry, 2 yards, 1 catch, 18 yards. Week 12 at Denver, 2 catches, 23 yards. And then week 13 at Cincinnati, 4 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. So right here, he's got a great matchup versus the New York Giants. And it's definitely a big possibility that he's going to start this week, no matter if Allen comes back or Williams, because I think one of these guys are going to miss the game this week here. Most likely Keenan Allen. So right here, the Giants give up the 9th most fantasy points to wide receivers. And I could see Guyton definitely catching a deep ball in this one and having a good ball game. And right now, he's available in 88% of fantasy leagues. The next wide receiver I have as a sleeper is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine of the Tennessee Titans. So Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, we've seen flashes from him this season. Julio Jones, he's back from practice, and he's probably going to play. But right here, A.J. Brown's still out. And the last couple weeks here, since Brown's been out, Westbrook-Ikhine's been putting up some decent games. Week 11 versus Houston, 7 catches, 107 yards. And week 12 in New England, 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. So this week here, a great matchup for Westbrook-Ikhine versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I give up the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him once again start in this game. I know Tannehill hasn't been the greatest of quarterbacks. He's been up and down this season. But I think Westbrook-Ikhine in this one, no matter if Julio's back or not, could have a decent ball game. And right now, he's available in 75% of fantasy leagues. And he's definitely a wide receiver that's a sleeper this week. And the third and final receiver I have as a sleeper is Marquez Callaway of the New Orleans Saints. At Callaway here, he's shown some flashes this season on and off. And right now, he's available in 75% of fantasy leagues. And he's the real deep threat now for New Orleans. Obviously, with Deontay Harris suspended 3 games, and we won't see him probably as a fantasy option the rest of the season. But anyway, Callaway the last few weeks definitely have been a struggle, but his snap count's gone down. He hasn't been on the field as much. But right here in week 14 at the New York Jets, I think he's going to have a decent role. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him catch a deep ball for a touchdown in this one. He's like a former New Orleans Saint from seasons ago, Devery Henderson, where this guy could have a ball game where he only catches 1 ball for 75 yards and a touchdown. But that makes his fantasy day. So I could see Callaway having a game at the Jets here where he catches a 50 or 60-yard touchdown. And that's about it, but he's definitely a sleeper option this week here. And especially with Harris out, he's the deep threat for this Saint team. So that receivers that I have as sleeper options here for week 14 of the fantasy football season.